Our next speaker is, you've already seen her, it's Karen Goose with the San Antonio Water System, and she's going to be speaking on technology, friend or foe in achieving sustainability. A little bit about Karen. She's Director of Water Conservation in San Antonio, Texas, where she leads a team that saves over 1 billion gallons of water each year through education, incentives, and reasonable regulation. In 2013, Karen was selected as the Water Star by the Alliance for Water Efficiency based on her career achievements in long-term water conservation and drought management. Karen has a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Michigan and a Master of Public Administration from the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. She is a licensed irrigator and serves on several state and national committees, and she is currently the chair of the Water Conservation Advisory Council. And as we know, we're very lucky to have her, and the amazing work that she and her team does over at SAWS really has made San Antonio a leader in this field. So we're pleased to have her, and I'd like to call Karen up.
Thank you. Good evening. The question I pose tonight is whether or not technology is our friend when it comes to achieving sustainability, and specifically for achieving sustainability in water use. So I want to harken back to days when there was almost no technology involved in how humans used water. Think back to Bible stories when you picture that people would go to draw the water from the well, pull it up by hand, and then have to carry it everywhere they went. And that it was an improvement in technology when there was a pump available. I don't know how many of you in the audience have ever used a pump to draw water from the ground. It's an improvement from drawing from the well, but it's still some work, and you're still carrying it around. Unfortunately, in many parts of the world, there are still people who have to carry their water in order to use it. In sub-Saharan Africa, the United Nations tells us that women collectively spend up to 200 hours a day carrying water for their families. So I guarantee you they're probably not using very much. Well, I'm not here to tell you that we should go back to those days in San Antonio. We are proud at San Antonio Water System that you get clean water that is safe to use at any time, 24/7, at your disposal for whatever purpose you need it for. Now, in addition to the technology that has made distributing clean, potable water possible, we also have technologies that we take for granted at our homes that help us use that water. Everything from the faucet to the toilet to an irrigation system. These are all conveniences. But you would be normal if you couldn't tell me relatively how much water each of those things uses in a home. Why would you know? It's so easy. You turn it on, it's available to you, it's a wonderful convenience. But if you looked at those images and you guessed that the automatic irrigation system uses the most water, you would be right. And interestingly, that's the device that is the most automated and the most removed from humans managing it. And what I mean by that is it's outside, and it usually runs off of some controller in the garage. So we're the least aware of how we use it, and it uses the most water if there is one in a home. All of this brings us to an interesting paradox that was posed many years ago, the Jevons paradox concerning efficiency and technology. And the paradox had to do with when fossil fuels were just beginning to be used with engines. And the question was, as engines become more efficient at getting energy out of fossil fuels, shouldn't we therefore start using less fossil fuels? Well, did that happen? No, it didn't. We know from the Industrial Revolution that as we developed more engines and we got better at burning fossil fuels, what happened to the use of fossil fuels? It went up. I see people putting their thumbs up. Right. So that's the paradox. The paradox is that an efficient technology can save, but it doesn't necessarily. So let's go through a couple examples and see if it holds true today and when. So I'm going to start with one where Jevons paradox does not work, and that is efficient fixtures in the home. The toilet is a marvel of engineering. It's something no home should be without. But I'm pleased to say that we have Epa Watersense toilets that flush at 1.28 gallons per flush. They used to flush at like 6 gallons. And this is such a well-performing device that now these are standard in code in San Antonio. So if you've got a decent one, you don't have to flush that more. It doesn't change anything about your life. And that, combined with other Epa Watersense fixtures, generally drops the usage of a home or a building by 30% on their indoor use. So that's a technology and efficiency that really does work. But it's an interesting thing that the paradox sort of holds true when we talk about things that are automated in the home and what risk that puts us at for having a high usage. Now, what do I mean by that? I've been working at San Antonio Water System for 15 years, and we've been answering a lot of questions on toilets. So I have this earth-shattering thing to share. They all leak. Eventually, every toilet is going to leak. They all need maintenance. This is a device that has to fill up to exactly the right level and then release water on command. Has anybody here had one of these things malfunction? Probably, if you've been in a house long enough, they do. But the good news is that at the very least, you're likely to hear it. If you have an automatic filling device on a swimming pool, the odds that you're going to notice that before you get a huge bill are very low. So I tell people, if you've got a swimming pool, you really don't want that automatic pool filler because that is a catastrophic leak waiting to happen. It will malfunction, and you probably won't notice until you get the big bill. Other things that put us at risk for a bill that is larger than we might like, a convenience I love, getting cold water from my refrigerator. Think about it, that has to automatically shut on and off for us, so you just keep an eye on it. And also water softeners in the garage. Remember, it's far removed from us, and it has to do an automated function. As long as all is working well, it's fine, but you keep an eye on anything that is automated. Now, when you're out and about outside of your home, how about comparing the old school washing your car with a bucket and a sponge to taking it through a car wash technology? You might wonder, are there really better car washes? Well, the answer is yes, there are, but you'd have to figure out which ones. You can use anywhere from 15 gallons to 120 to wash your car. Look for the seal that's there from saws to tell which ones. On irrigation technology, we go both ways. Drip irrigation can be great, or it can be excessive. Too many emitters, like you see in this picture, and it can be run too much. Deployed correctly, like these pictures, straight to water saver plants, and designed well, it can save. So this is a technology that should work, but we humans can mess it up. Smart irrigation controllers are a fascinating thing. I love stuff that works on my phone. It promises a lot of things that you see here on the screen. It uses real-time weather data. It's a computer. It's automated. You're going to love it. Well, be careful, because that computer program assumes you use a lot of water today. Most San Antonians do not. So you have to be cautious about these things, perhaps increasing your bill if you turn it over to this thing that promises you so many things. We're trying to work on getting them to be more cautious and more suited to San Antonio. A smart technology coming are things that are flow sensors, that instead of distancing you from your water use, they encourage you to know what's going on and to pay attention. This is one created by the University of Texas that we'll be piloting, sends information to your smartphone, and helps you know how you're using water in the home more. So, coming back to my question, is technology our friend or our foe? Well, I'm going to cop out a bit and tell you the answer is that it depends. It depends on what the details are. Buyer beware. If somebody is promising you water savings that are too good to be true, what does your dad say? They probably are. Also, be careful of anything labeled automatic, and watch out for tracking systems that are going to have the cost come down on them in the near future so that we're all going to be able to have these cool devices that help us know how we use water. Thank you very much.